Hello, everyone. This is Zami Eccles-Irwin from FilmFestivalCircuit.com and the Assistant Director of the Austin After Dark Film Festival. We just wrapped up our summer 2023 screening last weekend, and today we are talking with some of our participating filmmakers from the festival. Josh and Joey Powell are the creative team behind That Guy Sucks. And you also won the Best Ensemble Cast Award at last week's festival, so congratulations for that. And thank you
Thank-
both for talking with me today.
Oh yeah, thank you for having us. Yeah, we
Thanks for having
appreciate
us.
So That Guy Sucks actually really rocks. It's a great film, and the Ensemble Cast Award is well earned because everyone does an incredibly great job in that film. Tell me, what inspired you guys to make this?
Oh well, thanks for saying that. Well, what inspired us to make it was well, really the last time we were at Austin After Dark. I guess that was in November. We
Okay.
just saw a lot of different things. The last thing we made was real horror driven, and we do like to kind of go in between horror and comedy. So we really wanted to do something that had more of a comedic edge to it.
And it was the first festival that we had been to in a while since graduating from film school. So it was kind of like a creative reawakening for us.
Yeah, and well, I mean, the big inspiration was, sometimes you go to a party or you go to a get together, and there's somebody there that you're not quite sure why that guy got invited or why that person got invited, and they just make the situation a little too awkward, and yeah, just kind of took that and ran with it and made that guy as weird as possible. So yeah.
Yeah, it was always intended that I would be the weird guy, the titular guy that sucks. Because every time I work with Josh, and I love acting, but typically it's only in Josh's projects. I tend to play just average Joes who are maybe suffering some heartbreak, or maybe I'm doing something that's like pretty calm but still comedic, and I wanted to do something kind of weird.
Okay.
So originally Josh wrote it as a demonic possession movie where, this guy at a party, he's possessed by a demon, and the rest of the friends have to come together and exorcise the demon out of him. I said, well, I never really connected with exorcism movies because I feel like they don't really have rules.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Hard disagree, but go ahead.
so yeah, I mean, and I also didn't want to just like writhe on a bed for 15 minutes,
Right.
while someone like shouts stuff at me. So I said, "Hey Josh, you got this script. It's called That Guy Sucks. Let's just make it a pun and have it be about a vampire."
Yeah,
you
it was
know?
right. It was right there, and I didn't even see it.
Oh,
Yeah, and so once he
Yeah.
got on board with that idea, I'm like, "Oh, I actually have some ideas as to what I could do with a character like this." And so I did the voice for him, and he was like, "Are you sure about that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to do that. Is that okay?"
It
And
won me
so
over pretty quickly. Yeah.
yeah, and so it
Yeah.
all kind of spun from that.
Okay. Well, I love that. I like to see how these ideas develop and how a collaboration is kind of essential to that. What was it like creating that role, both from the writing standpoint and then from the acting standpoint?
Oh well, I mean, it was fun because it's a guy that's kind of like he's just like newly transitioned into being a vampire.
Right.
So he's he kind of has like a kind of a Draculaean way of talking, but
Hmm.
he's kind of like just sort of coming into it. So everything he says is kind of it's something like you would hear in Transylvania, but out of context. It's just like that guy is just so strange.
Right.
And so all the other actors we have just kind of play off that, and they're kind of like too nice to really acknowledge that he's being weird and just tell him to get lost. So I like that kind of balance between I don't just a bunch of friends just really not knowing what to do with this guy who's they're supposed to be kind of like involving in their group.
Right.
So that just makes for really interesting character dynamics.
Yeah, and for me, in trying to think about what this character would be like on screen, the thing that attracts me to vampire lore is sort of like the innate sexiness that comes with
Okay.
it, where I don't think that's played up a lot in
We did
movies
we
and
did talk a
TV.
lot about him being Are you
So
sexy enough?
no,
Yeah.
no. So I thought it would be funny if it was a guy who just he became a vampire and all of a sudden he thinks that everyone wants to get with him.
Right.
So that was sort of the mindset I had just as I was approaching people very creepily, getting into people's
Right.
personal space, and it was a ton of fun. We laughed a lot on set.
We did have people watch it and go like, why is he hitting on everybody? This is weird. They didn't think he was a vampire. They just thought he was hitting on everybody.
My job is done.
So yeah, it's good.
Well, there's the close erotic component of blood sucking itself, but I do really like the physicality. I like you getting into people's bubbles, and it's funny because they're sort of stopped down by social convention. Like you said, they can't just tell the guy to get lost. What was that onset chemistry and dynamic like? Because it seemed like a lot of fun.
Well, what's fun about it is so and it's interesting that we won best ensemble cast because Joey, he's acted, but everybody else we cast our friends from high school. So all those people we went to high school with, the three of the
Oh,
guys.
that's fun.
Yeah,
we all knew each other really well, but
Yeah.
they don't have a ton of experience sort of memorizing a bunch of lines and monologues and whatnot. So,
but the thing is, like, we knew what they could do well, and we knew what we kind of like, had their personality types and kind of transitioned that into the characters. And it made a really good correlation with the characters. So it was about just like putting them in the right scenarios and giving them the right lines and just playing kind of off of their personalities.
And they all offered some really funny ad libs. Like there's a part where and all of their names are their names in
Okay.
I'm the only character that has a different name because we wanted to make me weird.
Mhm.
But there's a part where Chris, he wants to just jump out the window instead of fighting this vampire, and that was Chris's idea completely, and we just kind of ran with it. We thought it would be a really funny gag, and it actually gets a really good response from the audience when he does that.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. It's cool. In lieu of acting experience, you have authentic chemistry on screen. And of course, a room full of buddies, people are going to feel comfortable shouting out ideas. And that seems like a kind of a good dynamic to do this. My question is, well, yeah, what did you guys learn from this process? What kind of insights did you take away? It sounds like you're an alum of the film festival, so you had a more serious horror before. What was different with this one? What did you guys learn?
Oh, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Sure.
Yeah.
So this was a bit of a unique filmmaking experience for us, or rather, I should say Josh, because he was literally a one-man band on set.
Okay.
I don't know if you would love for me to reveal this,
No,
but
that's fine.
the way we shot this is that Josh just taped a shotgun mic to a camera. And if you go back and look at the movie, very few shots are wider than like a medium close-up.
Okay.
So he captured all of the images and the audio all at once, and somehow he was able to make it sound like a movie. So everybody that was there, we're all at points in our lives where people are getting married, and
Right.
actually Thomas got married like a week after
that,
we
yeah.
shot
Oh, wow.
this.
Same
And,
with wedding planning.
I have a toddler. Chris just had a baby, so we're all at different life stages, and we didn't have a lot of time.
I'm the
But
only single one, so I guess that's why I'm the weirdo filmmaker.
maybe,
Yeah, there you go.
maybe.
Explain.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of time, so we
Okay.
we were able to shoot it really fast and be really efficient. And gosh, that climax, we literally shot that in like 10 minutes. So
Wow.
yeah. But that also kind of adds to kind of like it kind of helps to have that time limit so you can kind of capture that frantic pacing too. So
yeah,
Right.
we'd have to go like no messing around. We have to cover this.
But I mean, yeah, another lesson is it's nice to kind of get reminded of what you can do with limited resources and limited time. And sometimes when you make movies, you can kind of get bogged down on just getting multiple takes just so you have them, and like
Right.
a bunch of different coverage just so you have it for options, which is great if you can get it. But it is really nice to kind of really have a set time where you're just like kind of running full speed. And then you can just kind of get that frantic energy, capture that on camera, get into the editing. And sometimes it turns out a little bit better than if you had a ton of stuff
Okay.
to choose from. So
Yeah, and then somehow the actors, they just fed off of it. Like Rob was one in particular where Josh could just say, "Hey, could you say the line like this?" and he would just deliver it perfectly, and we could move on. So yeah, sometimes it is worth working with people that don't have a ton of acting experience because they tend to be a little more malleable.
Especially if they're movie buffs, and like you can go like, "Hey, you remember this movie?" and they go like, "Oh, I remember how that guy said it in that movie." So it's nice to kind of have people that don't have any kind of acting that are kind of taught. They aren't like taught acting, so then they can just build from what they've kind of already experienced, which that makes for fun experiences. Yeah.
Totally. Well, I love the idea of the time limit and actually really having that frantic pace, which carries over for sure. But there's really no lack of polish. I wouldn't imagine that this is just like a single crew. So you were just kind of running and gunning. You had the camera, you had the mic,
Yeah.
and man
Yeah.
band. Wow.
Yeah. Well, we did have
Josh,
one light. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we had one light, but Josh always knew that he was going to make it very punchy. There's a lot of
Right.
digital zooms and there's a lot of
Yeah.
shape, and he's gotten his editing. If I could boast for you real quick, he's gotten his editing process down in such a way where it's very much like an Edgar Wright style, where
Mm,
everything is, or even like Matthew Vaughn with the Kingsman movies, everything's moving really quickly.
okay.
So
Yeah.
if there is any kind of if it's not the most beautiful image in the world, what you're seeing on screen is something really kinetic, and it doesn't lose audience interest, and that's the best
Totally.
thing I can say about him as a filmmaker.
Well, but then that also does come out of necessity, because when you're working with a group of friends that all are used to goofing off, they might not like you might not keep their attention for very long. So it's like you don't really have much time to really pause and go like, okay, do you guys want to take a break? You guys want to get a snack? Because that snack will last like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
then you're ready for the next shot in 5 minutes. So it kind of helps if you just continue to move. You don't really let the thing go like, okay, here's your next line, go. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of used to one man banding, just kind of out of necessity for what I do for work when I freelance, and I like being able to kind of have control over every aspect, and just kind of it is hard to do. It's hard to do good audio while you're doing while you're recording, just because while you're
Because
recording video.
you're not listening to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm listening to it, but the thing is, like, if you want a wide shot, you just have to get that audio in a
Yep.
different take, because
Right.
you're got too much noise. So it does get a little technical. That's why there are a lot of close-ups, and then the wider shots, we would have to do it over in a closer shot.
Mm,
But it works.
Yeah. So, but it's fun. It's fun being able to experiment like that, and I think that's
totally.
kind of the best thing about short films is you can experiment with new ways of doing things.
Absolutely. Would you consider making another film under the same practice?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think it's nice to have a sound person on set. It's just like we didn't really have time to really put all that together with all the
Right.
scheduling. But I mean, I would like to have sound people, and it's nice. It's nice to have a lighting team around. It's nice to have help. Um,
Totally.
I do think it would be interesting to just continue to try to do it in that kind of with that kind of limited resources, just because like it is just the limited casting crew in one space. And I've seen behind the scenes of even short films where people have massive crews, and that's
Right.
great. When you get massive crews in a tiny little house like we were shooting in, it gets hot
A
and
lot of
people run.
cooks. It blows
Yeah,
up the like the catering, and it's
Right.
there.
people really running into each
Yeah,
other.
there are a lot of expenses, and I do think a lot of people, what they don't realize is, you think about being an independent filmmaker, and you want to amass this big crew to feel official, but the only thing that matters is what's in front of the screen, right?
Right.
So as long as you can put together a small group of people that can make that image and that sound look and sound very good, then no one's going to know the difference.
Yeah,
Totally.
I mean, we've heard stories about how Soderbergh really likes to do things very limited, and
Mm,
even like Kubrick, I've heard stories about him how he'll keep his crews like strangely small, and then the Safdie brothers, like when one of them isn't acting in a scene, he'll just like he'll be the sound mixer,
wow.
just so they can keep their crew down, and he'll hold the boom pole and direct at the same time. So.
I love
Uh,
that.
yeah, I mean, and I am pro crew, and I am pro everybody getting paid for their work, but
Right.
sometimes it is very fun just to see how much you can pull off by yourself, even though it does make for some long sleepless nights in the
Right.
edit.
Well, it's
Yeah.
nice to know that a great short film like That Guy Sucks, which I really personally did enjoy,
Well,
can be made under such tight constraints that you can just go out there, film it, and it's funny. But tell me, what are you guys working on next? Do you have more shorts together in the works?
Yeah, so the next one we're gonna do that we're gearing up for, it's gonna be we're gonna go back into hard horror, so it's gonna be a pretty gnarly
Okay.
monster movie, kind of a paranoid thriller. So yeah, another short, and then working on a few different feature scripts that hopefully we can,
Oh, excellent.
yeah, we can think about what we really want to focus on with that. What about you?
Yeah, and for me, I'm actually I'm a full-time employee at a technology company, but I'm also a writer. So actually, shortly after we attended Austin After Dark, I tried to kickstart somewhat of a writing career. So
Okay.
I've written a novel and a novella that I'm trying to get published right now, and I am also going to start work on a novella that I just want to self-publish to get out into the world. So
Okay.
All
yeah,
this creative. This guy has a kid and he gets more creative. What? Come on,
yeah.
come on.
Love that.
No,
Yeah,
hey, I love it. And if I could stay in front of the camera with Josh,
yeah.
then I'm all the better
I
for
mean,
it.
we'll see if he passes his audition. Who knows? But
Hey, I work for free, so
but yeah, we have met really cool people at these film festival circuit events. So yeah, it has been cool. Hoping to
yeah,
continue to work with people.
yeah.
Totally.
Some people from the last festival that we're actually actively talking to about doing projects with in the future. So
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
excellent. That's
exciting.
really what it's about. I mean, yeah, if you can connect like that, it's perfect.
Yeah, and the interviews you do really help. So it's really cool what you guys do. Interviewing filmmakers and kind of spreading the word about the projects. It's really cool of you.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
Yeah,
it's so fun to do, and I really appreciate you guys coming on and talking with me today. Once again, congratulations for the Best Ensemble Cast Award win. The
thank you.
chemistry in That Guy Sucks is so good, and it's well deserved. And I'm really
Awesome,
excited to see more from you guys.
So great to
awesome.
hear complete strangers say that. So
Yeah,
thank you so much. And we're strangers no more. So thank you so
Right,
much for the interview.
absolutely. Well, I will see you guys around at more festivals. Absolutely.
all right, sounds great. Can't
Sounds
wait
good.
to see you.
Take care, guys.
All
All
right,
right,
bye.
thanks.